bless up to each and everyone, man. Thanks for being here again. Thanks for being here on the channel. But hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Good day to each and everyone. But before I go any further, I just want to say, look, the people usually, I look out for the video them, during the early morning, the 7 a.m., the 8 a.m. Look, it's haven't been like that over the last couple of days, but make sure so the video them drop late afternoon and early evening hours, at least the people them get something from my channel, and keep the people them up to date on what is going on, because everybody is doing their own little work, everybody is doing their own little videos, and I have to make sure that I do my video as well, I do my content, and make sure that I bring a little bit of info. Not a long video, but I'm just going to give some quick update. Hopefully a morning, bright and early Friday morning, we can actually drop the video 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. on time. And look, Kiran Anderson, a player that have big potential, a player that who is highly rated by the Charlton Athletic, a player that was scouted by Manchester United 4 years ago, back in his teenager days when he's like 15, 16. He was very, very close to join United under 18 team, where reports said he turned down that offer and decided to stay with the Charlton Athletic team, where I think he would probably get that opportunity where he can come through the first team in a more easier pathway, which would a difficult pathway for him getting in the first team for Manchester United. So game time was always that priority for Kiran Anderson. But a player with huge potential for Charlton Athletic, one of their academy graduate, you will say, look, I still don't know which position is his best role on that football pitch. I know they said number 8 is his best role, playing as a box-to-box is his best preferred position, but again, that 23-24 season, that was his breakout year. Last season, 24-25, you will say it was a little bit of letdown each time Nathan Jones gave him that opportunity. It's like he's letting down the coach. Yes, he scored a few goals, especially last season, but he just didn't lived up to that first breakout year that he had for Charlton Athletic, and it was a disappointing one. And with the team going into a new season, playing in a higher league, this is a player again, can leave the football club and can stay at the football club. But again, if the offer is right on the table, you will see that maybe Kiran Anderson is that one. Maybe they can sacrifice as a youth player. But I saw reports as well that, look, there's a club in League One who is interested. No inquiry, no bid. They didn't reach out to the Charlton, but they just have the player and their transfer list that this is a player that they might go after in around anywhere around the transfer window. But again, this is a player I just believe that when you look around the reports, when you look around the players that are coming in, when you look around the players that who is currently at the club at this moment, all those players are ahead of Kiran Anderson. And I'm not going to say the club don't rate him, the manager don't rate him, they rate him highly, but again, the player is not showing that right attitude in terms of he want to go to that next level, unlock more potential skills, what he can do on a football pitch. And when I look at it, I think a player that is very tenacious, a player that who really want to prove that he can do the job, he can be the main player, especially when you look at it, a Reggae Boy team that who is shorter, midfield players that in that midfield department who especially played in the role at Kiran Anderson favorite position as a 8. You think that this young player would have be that player for the Reggae Boy, but it's like every time when he get his opportunity, it's like he come out on the pitch or he start the game with a little bit of a rush of blood, where every time when he get on the pitch or get a start, for the Reggae Boys or for the Charlton, but especially for the Reggae Boy team, it just seems like he's in a rush to do everything. I think for a midfielder, I think for a young player like his age 20, I know he have a lot more room for him to develop, but for me, it just seems like his progress to get better, it just seems like it just stall at this moment, where the coach or him is not getting, I don't know where to go, but it's like the player is not progressing how this player should be progressing. And as again, big player, with huge potential. But when you talk about a midfielder that tend to lose the football a little bit too cheaply at times, I think his decisions as well, flying into challenge, the passing, and I think his first touch is a bit poor. If he wants to go to the top, those things as a midfielder, you have to make sure that your first touch, your decisions making, look, your end product of making sure that you make the right decision as a midfield player, it will be precise and immaculate, and to progress that football and to do everything. Because without a midfield, a team can easily look like it's just not a team that ready to play football. We saw what the Reggae Boy team look like when there's no midfielders in that central department. So I just think that he's progressing that role at this moment. He's not setting the place of on fire. And even when he got his opportunity, he came in. They called him up for the Reggae Boy team in the Gold Cup for Isaac Hayden. You say like, okay, this is a player. He's not showing that skill set. That this is a player that will be the main player for the next 15 years for the Reggae Boy. That look, I can play at the highest level at my club level, and I have something that I can give for the Reggae Boys in the next 10 to 15 years. Because I do think if he come through the right way over the next couple of years, he will be a bright spark and he will be a very good player for us to have in the selection pool. But again, what's your deal on Kiran Anderson? I think watching him sometimes, it can be very, very frustrated at times, and how he played the football and how he tend to make his first touch on the football. It can be a little bit too erratic and poor, especially going into challenges, flying into challenge. It can be a little bit too loose for a midfielder, and I just think maybe maturity will bring that level-headed and bring a more stability in his game, where you say, okay, him himself can get the best out of what he can do on the pitch. But again, for me, with League 2 clubs, circling around and looking at this player, I just feel like if the deal is right, they will go ahead and sell him. And is it that Charlton is the right place for him? Because again, coming off a very poor season, the team is going in a higher division where Kiran Anderson stands in terms of minutes on the football pitch, going into a crucial phase of the season where the World Cup qualifiers will be coming in, new players will be coming in for the Reggae Boys, and then players just don't want to lose out on a World Cup qualifier campaign, especially if the team go ahead and qualify for that FIFA World Cup coming next summer. So again, it will be a big summer. Will he stay at Charlton Athletic, which I think is just 50-50 at this moment. They're willing to keep him if the offer is not there, but I think if the offer is right, with a player that have 2 years left back on his contract, his contract will finish in 2027. They have 2 years, 24 months. They have a few negotiations that they can demand a little bit of hefty fee for the player, especially a very young player who haven't lived up to his potential and his skills. But again, a player that can really go and a player that can really stay at the football club. But if he stay, what will be the minutes on the football pitch for Kiran Anderson? Again, look at the names that's coming in and look at the names that they link with in the transfer market. Player that you will see have a higher quality. They're looking at midfielder at Brentford and they're looking at midfielders at Rangers Football Club. So what you think about Kiran Anderson and his position at this moment, for Charlton Athletic? Is it the best place for him? Yeah, because again, no player will want to lose out on a World Cup spot, especially in that squad if the Reggae Boy qualify for the FIFA World Cup coming next year. He should be that player, but he's yet to be that player for the Reggae Boy. What's your takes and what you think what I said about Kiran Anderson, that when you watch a player, it can be very frustrated at times that you don't know what the player really wants to do on the football pitch at the times. I know there's quality. I know there's a skill set in him that he can play at a very decent level. For me, I think he's a very good championship player if he can unlock and get those attributes on the football pitch right. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. But again, Mason Holgate, a team they said is in deep negotiations, the Qatari club Al Gharafa, a team that finished third in the league last season, a team that will be playing continental tournament in the upcoming season. They will be playing in the AFC League 2. I think that's the second tier of their continental. I think they have the AFC Championship or the Elite, and they have the AFC League 2, and then they have the AFC whatever another. So there's 3 tier of continental tournament in Asia. So this team will be playing continental football coming up in the next season. A team this is managed by Pedro Martin, the Portuguese, someone who is highly experienced in around the Qatari football, managed many different clubs in this league as well. And actually the annual salary for Mason Holgate is $2.5 million, and I don't think at this moment any championship club who can afford to offer the player a 2.5 annual salary. You understand? So let me know what you guys think about Mason Holgate. But again, I'm seeing reports as well from different journalists that talking about Mason Holgate linking with the Qatari club, that it's a done deal, and another report saying that the negotiations are on the way. And also I just want to leave it as is. It's still open, anything can happen. It's negotiation can break down. Tell me what you think of the player signing up for the Qatari club, another reggae boy player who will be playing in the Middle East. And again, with the reggae boy, with the the Jamaican Football Federation keep talking about expensive ticket. It's not cheap to fly from the Middle East coming over in the Caribbean and stuff like that. It's a long flight over here, can be between 12 to 16 hour a flight. But what you think of the Qatari club Al Gharafa linking with the reggae boy player Mason Holgate with an annual salary of $2.5 million per year? I'm leaving it right here. Let me know what you guys think. Bless up on yourself. Thanks for watching. This is Nicardo Media House with another video. Salute. Bless up.